It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this Wednesday morning to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Jonni Watts leads the Ad Partners Agency New Business Initiative. As a former agency owner and creative director, she understands firsthand how a business owner thinks and the challenges they face. She is best known for putting Culpepper, Kurland on the map and revolutionizing the local landscape of attorney advertising. Jonni, welcome to the show today.
Hey, thank you.
So first of all, tell me about Ad Partners and your role within the company.
Well, Ad Partners is a full-service ad agency located in Tampa. We do traditional radio, TV, billboards, print, websites, and also the digital SEM, SEO. We've even done things like trade show booth design for some of our clients and building apps for them to use for their businesses, like for Brass Tap. That was something they used internally. So we've done a lot of package design, so pretty much full service. We don't do social, so that's
it's a good fit here. We got a social
really.
media expert, and then we've got the traditional advertising, the billboards, and other things of that nature. Right? Correct.
Right. Yeah, but it is important to get into that digital world because, as we know, more viewers are, online. So advertising has to be there too.
And you were talking to me about how well billboards work, and you were sharing with me a strategy that you see a lot of people use successfully, mixing billboards with television.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about this.
One of our clients is More TV, actually, which they handle a lot of their, own advertising for the television, but we handle their creative for the billboards. And they have a pretty extensive billboard campaign. You may have seen the ones with Charlie Sheen all over. They're pretty funny, and they're everywhere. But that can be very effective, especially when you pair it with TV. TV, if you see it, you see it. Billboards are always on. That's what's kind of nice about that. And another effective thing I've seen advertisers do is you'll go up, have several boards for 30 days, take them down, and move them to another location. So you look like you're in a lot more places than you really are. So
let's talk about something I was talking to you with before the show, the importance of committing to an advertising campaign. I see a lot of people that they buy like a billboard and they put all their effort into that.
One little billboard. 1 month on TV.
1 month on TV, or they'll just run a few commercials on a radio and say, oh, it didn't work, and they give up. And I tell people, you got to commit to something. You've got to just set aside so much money, and you've got to build a presence. Tell me about this.
You do. Well, when you think about our world and how quickly we just go and move and do, and you don't remember stuff, and your buying window changes. You're not always looking for a real estate agent or a car. You're only looking for it when you're looking for it. So you need to be there. So you do have to commit to it. At least 6 months, no matter what platform you're doing. And the more platforms you can do, the more effective it's going to be because you're touching people on many different levels and they just keep seeing you.
I've always thought that a good, effective marketing campaign is broad enough to where you're not really certain where that lead came from unless they tell you, but it's about they just recognize you. So when you have an accident, you think of Culpepper Kurland because you see the signs, or John Morgan because you see his signs everywhere. I think it's just, a good, effective marketing campaign, has that presence to it. It's just you immediately come to mind, when you need that service. Right.
And I think there's really 3 components to being effective. And one is the creative has to stand out and be different, especially in attorney advertising. It all looked the same there for many years, a lawyer standing in front of law books. Well, then Culpepper Kurland comes along and, we're shooting them in slow motion and they look cool and there's, music. Everybody stopped and went, oh, I remember that. I notice it. And the next part is the placement of it, reaching the right people in the right place with the right message. So you have to consider your target audience, speak to them the way they want to be, what makes sense to them and what appeals to them. And then the third component is, and what we do at our agency is we have a lot of experience. Several of our media people have over 20 years of experience. And we also do research. So we'll, look at like Scarborough, and we subscribe to these things and look at where are these people? What TV shows are they watching? What cable are they watching? What are their habits? And so you got to put the message in front of them at the right place. And then the third thing is to track it. If it's not working, let's change it up, and one thing that I'm, really proud about what we do at our agency is we are results oriented. You can have amazing, stellar creative, which wins awards, and we have those. We just won 9 Telly Awards, but it also needs to get the phones ringing for the client. If it doesn't do that, what's the point?
Right. Absolutely.
So
now you specialize in attorney advertising, and let's talk.
That's one of the things. Yeah, that's part of my background.
And first off, why are all attorney commercials so boring? Why are they always on the TV talking about if you're in an accident, call this number for a free consult? They're just so dry.
I know, and it's all the same kind of thing.
Do they feel that they have to be that way? Are they just so
well? They
rigid
don't have an ad agency that's producing something cool for them. That's why
you took Culpepper, Kurland, and their commercials are definitely much more innovative,
Yeah.
at least on an attorney standpoint. They're more creative.
And you also have to find, and this goes across any business, what makes them different, what makes them unique, and that's what you need to play off of. I've also done some work with Bernetti, and they're the opposite of, Culpepper Kurland. So we have to appeal to that. Another attorney we're working with, he's, kind of, the hometown guy. So Drew Hudgens, he's in Zephyr Hills, and that's a totally different approach. Clients first with him, and he's just a lot more approachable, and, he's not going to, he'll fight for you, but he's not going to, it's not him to walk around in slow motion. You have to look at what's everybody else doing, and how do you set yourself apart, and how do you tell the story that draws people in. We just did some Vigo commercials. They're actually pre-roll. They're not going to be on air, at least not yet. And they were very, pulling the heartstrings. And it was about, every meal has a story. And then we tell these stories. And, that draws people in. So you need something that is funny, stands out, touches a chord.
Yeah, storytelling is definitely a great component to effective advertising. It's actually the focal point of Coldwell Banker, my company that I work for. National advertising is you tell your story about your home ownership. And so effective, storytelling or storytelling in general is definitely an effective way to create a creative presence in your advertising.
It does. And branding is important too. I mean, a lot of us will know a Publix commercial the second it pops up the first frame, and Target too. It's like they have that feel, they have that look. And that's one thing that an ad agency I think is great at, is creating branding across all your platforms so that everything looks and feels and passes the tests of this is who you are and who you've said you are, and we're delivering it. And that even goes all the way down to the customer service of how your employees treat customers like Starbucks.
Right. So after you've got your compelling and creative ad, next component to be aware of is the placement of the ad. Talk to me a little bit about the importance and how you can help clients with proper placement of ads.
Well, for example, Vigo, they didn't have a budget to go on television. So it's strictly an online campaign, and has, segmented market, and you can drill down so tight. You can do that with television, just running a zone cable. You can run direct mail in just a certain neighborhood. You can really drill down. And even at search engine marketing campaigns, I'm amazed by how tight you can make those. I mean,
where do different fields fit in well? Do you have any input on that?
That's where you'd have to, definitely dive into the research and see and experience. Obviously television has been successful for attorneys. O Brady's does very well with commercials. We did a 2-week campaign in January that during a time frame that they had never been on, and their sales increased by double digits.
And a lot of people don't realize that commercials on television are not always that expensive. I mean, because you're running in a local market. I think some people think...
It depends, yeah. I
think some people think that they're, like if they're watching a commercial on Oprah Winfrey's show, for instance, that, it's being
Super Bowl commercials are expensive.
Yeah, because that's national. They don't have anything
right.
local. But
local, definitely.
They're sometimes $30-$40 or something, or even cheaper than that sometimes I've seen, depending on the show. But you can get some good placement on in front of some pretty good shows. I've done my own, just looking into some things.
Yeah, and that's a combination of looking at how many viewers there are, the ratings. The TV stations will say, here's the ratings we're expecting to get for this station. And, one thing we do is we check. If you didn't deliver the ratings you said you were going to deliver, well, we want you to make good on that. So that's another thing that a good ad agency can do for you, is to check and make sure you're getting all the stuff that you said the station said they were going to deliver.
Some great information. Currently talk with Jonni Watts with Ad Partners here on That Business Show, part of our Working Women Wednesdays features. And Jonni, in the last segment, we were talking, about the attorney advertising and your effect on, helping Culpepper Kurland get on the map, and also the different components to effective advertising, creating compelling and effective content, proper placement. But another component to proper advertising is the tracking of the results. Tell me about this component of proper marketing.
Right. So you have, great creative, and you put it in the right spot. And then the second, the third part is to track it, see how well it's doing, and that's looking at sales and getting information from our clients and our advertisers and comparing them to what we ran and what happened. And one, easy way to do that is when you're working with direct response. We have a client of Freedom Health who does infomercials and also 60-second commercials that will have a phone number on it. And you can put a different phone number for each station. You can put a different phone number on the direct mail. So when those calls start coming in, you have a very clear picture of what's working and what isn't. So that's kind of nice. One, success story we have with Freedom Health is when we first did their creative and changed things up, we had an increase of 39% on their call volume, and that was with zero increase to budget. So when you can do stuff like that, you feel so good about what you're doing for your clients. Now, it's like, yay, it works.
Now, when you draw in new clients, do you offer any type of free consultations?
Absolutely.
And what type of commitment? So talk to me a little bit about how your advertising agency works.
Well, we absolutely will, meet with somebody to see what they're doing, learn what their goals are, and then see if we can help them. We may not be a good fit for everybody, and you don't know that until you start talking. The best fit for us is probably, business to consumer. And, like Beef O Brady's, like AMSCOT, somebody with multiple locations.
What are some of the things that you do that sets you apart from some of the other advertising agencies that are out there? We talked about, the tracking information, things of that nature, helping people with creative design, especially the attorneys out there. So give me a little bit about, how you set yourself apart from your competition.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is we are results oriented. We do care about your phones ringing and you growing your business. So many agencies will just want to do creative work, just want to win awards. And we do too, absolutely. But that's not what it's all about. We really want, in fact, it excites me. I'm kind of a geek about advertising.
I noticed in your talking what you sent to me, you love to watch the commercials.
I do. I don't DVR past commercials. I watch them. In fact, I'll rewind them and maybe record them on my phone, if they're really good, and just go, show my creative director, hey, look at this. And I'm
a big commercial guy, too. Some commercials irritate me so much that I won't use their service just because I don't like their commercial even.
I hear you, yeah. And, a lot of people are like that. Or they're like, I am so sick of, the progressive girl, Flo, kill her, I'm done,
I'm tired of that advertising campaign, too. Yeah, that's one of the ones that irritate me. And also, I'm a progressive client, though, so maybe I have to eat my words there. I am a progressive insurance.
But there's some entertainment value. I'm not pining away to do a independent film. I actually like advertising because I think it does work and it helps people. And, I think our biggest selling point is our work works.
Awesome. So good information. Got to wrap it up. But that's Jonni Watts, new account director with Ad Partners. Jonni, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been fun.